Well, hey everybody, and welcome back to the kitchen. It seems like it's been a long time since we've been together. I think it's probably been about 2 weeks since I made my last video. Since that time, I've had my great nieces and my sister here. We've done some spring break fun things. My husband and I got to go to Disney on a trade show for him. We did a little sun. My nose is a little burnt. So it's been a great couple of weeks, but I'm ready to get back in the kitchen. I will tell you, and for all of you who think I talk too much, you might want to slide on by because I'm going to just say a few things here. So by all means, if that's too much for you, move along. So what I wanted to say was I so appreciate everybody. I mean, I so appreciate it, all you new people. My goodness, 2 weeks ago, I think we had maybe 170 people, and today we have like 12,000. I do not know what happened, but it went crazy and we love it. I love your comments. You are so kind and generous and sweet and complimentary, and everyone's trying the recipes and everyone's raving about it, so that just makes me thrilled. But I did want to say a few things which because it's been overwhelming, I mean literally thousands of comments. I want you to know that I am trying to get back to every single person. I really am trying so hard to get to you all. I worked on it 7 hours going to Florida, 7 hours come home, probably a couple of hours every day. I'm trying to get to you all. If I didn't get to you, I apologize. Please don't be offended. Please ask again, because just the way that the feed comes up, you know, I think I've got them all, and then I go into one of the recipes and I see 10 more comments. So just keep asking. There's a couple of things. So I'm trying to get to all of you. So just know that there are thousands of you and one of me, and I'm really trying to get to y'all. I also wanted to say that a lot of comments were questioning where to get the recipes. So I wanted to show you on my iPad. Let me go back here. And on my iPad, just so I can actually, I know with point and save here. So this is my page, right? And if you go here, to posts, right there, where it says posts, you go back and click on that. If you click on posts, then what comes up are all the recipes. When you click on videos, it gives you a list of all my videos and you can see the video from there. If you click on post, then above my video, the video will still come up, it just comes up in order. And if you post on above that, or if you look above that, that's where the written recipe is. And that is up until March. The recipe is up until March. After that, there is a link that will take you over to the YouTube channel, which is where they are now. As I've said to you in that post last week, the reason I went to the YouTube channel was because I really had storage issues on my electronic devices, both my iPhone and my iPad. I mean, I was running out of storage, and I have a ton of storage, but the videos just take so much. So by offloading them to YouTube, I can kind of get a little bit more as far as videos go. A couple of other things. I do want to say that I've had a whole lot of wonderful comments. I've had some really nasty comments, and then I've had some people kind of trying to get to know other people on here. And if you want to, and it's kind of creepy. So I don't want anybody to feel uncomfortable on this site. I don't want anyone to feel unsafe. So if you want to get to know somebody, you need to go to a dating app, not here. And as soon as I see that, there are no second chances. It is an immediate delete and block. I don't want any of my people feeling uncomfortable at all. So that's one thing. And you know, I promise you, there are 15 different ways to do anything. There are 100 different ways to do something. And if you don't like the way I do it, I always say that this is just how I do it. If you don't like the way I do it, by all means, tell me another way. I am open to great new suggestions. So I am not offended if you want to share with me another way that you do something. That's really great. And then I think finally, I did write these things down so I wouldn't forget. The other thing is, I am a Christian woman and I live by Christian values. And if you don't like that, then maybe this isn't the site for you. And I'm fine with that. But please, we aren't going to do religion or politics. If you have another religion, then go to another page. If you don't like the fact that I wear a cross or that I believe in my Savior, Jesus Christ, that's okay with me too. So, and I know I talk a lot and I know I ramble. I'm doing it right now. So we're going to move on. Just wanted to say those few things. So today, finally, we're getting to the point, which is we are going to do, in my family, what we call Nana Lynn's chicken. See if I can get this fancy little new thing that I got from my niece. And this is my brother-in-law's mama's recipe, and it is truly one of my favorites. It's called Supreme Deviled Chicken. It's called Deviled Chicken, Chicken Supreme. There's a bunch of different names for it, but in my family, because Nana Lynn is the one who taught me how to make it, it's called Nana Lynn's Chicken. So what we're going to do here is, I don't do white meat. I mean, my husband and I, we're dark meat lovers. However, I'm going to do a couple of pieces of white meat here because I want you to see that it is certainly possible with this recipe to do white meat, because lots of people like white meat. I like white meat if I'm going to pound it and fry it and do something like that. And in this, it is very good in this too. So as a matter of fact, I think this is probably what this recipe calls for, but we just like dark meat. So, but I wanted to show you can do both. Whenever I have chicken thighs, I don't know if I want to do that. I guess I'll use this. What I like to do is, you see where this bone is? Let's get you up here a little closer. You see where the bone is in the thigh. What I want to do is take it by the bone, and of course my hand is in the way. So let's go this way. Take it by the bone, and I want to take this knife, my sharp knife, and I want to go down and cut like that on both sides of the bone. And what I'm doing is, I'm getting next, and here's another one. Just cut down by the bone. Just a little slit on both sides of the bone. And what I'm doing is I'm opening that up so that when I put it in the pan in the oil gets down in there and cooks it to the bone. Because with chicken thighs, sometimes they take a little bit longer, but this will help speed along the process. The other thing I did want to mention is I've had a whole lot of people talk to me about cross-contamination. In my kitchen, cross-contamination is a real thing, and I promise you that my hands are clean, my pantry door is clean, everything is. You just don't see me cleaning it because I don't waste my time doing that when I'm talking to you. I'll be right back. Let me wash my hands. I'll be right back. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are going to salt, pepper, and paprika this chicken. That is about it. This is such an easy and unbelievably good recipe. So I'm going to salt and pepper and paprika these, but I'm going to take a cup of oil. This is just a clear canola oil actually, and I have my huge skillet here. It's cast iron. I'm going to put that cup, and I know it seems like a lot, but it works perfectly. And if you will notice, I used my liquid measuring cup to measure that with. So I'm going to get that going so we can so that we can get it warmed up or get the grease going. So I'm going to take my salt and pepper and liberally, and of course you know me, I'm always using my kosher salt. I'm a big believer in kosher salt. I think it cooks better. It dissolves better. It doesn't have any iodized bitterness to it. It's just good. It's what I use. All right, now some pepper. And again, my husband and I like salt and pepper, and you know, some of this is going to fall off in the pan too, but always, if you see me doing something and say, oh, that's too much pepper, don't use that much pepper. Use what your family likes. That's what all of this is all about, using what you like. And now paprika. And this is just regular McCormick's paprika. You can use, if you have sweet pepper, or sweet paprika, Hungarian paprika, any kind will work. And what I want to make sure that you can see is how much, because I am going to really give this a good coating of paprika here. So I want you to see that I am not going to be shy with that. You see that? I mean, paprika is not pepper. It's, well, it is actually, but it's not hot pepper. Let's put it that way. But I am giving it really, you want a really nice coating on here of this. Got clogged up. There we go. All right. So now what we're going to do is, this has got to come up to temperature. My oil has to come up to temperature because I want to put it in there. I'm going to just brown it. I'm going to put this side down, of course, and then then when it's down, I'll season the other side while it's in the pan. So, we're not up here yet. Let me show you a little trick, if I can. If you take a wooden spoon, I wonder if it's not ready yet, but if you take a wooden spoon, if you want to test your, to see if your oil is hot and ready for your chicken, if you take a wooden spoon and you put it down in there and it bubbles around the bottom, it's ready. So that's what I'm doing, and it's not ready. So I will come back to you as soon as it's ready. Hold on. Okay, this is ready, and I'm going to show you what I was talking about with the spoon. So if you put the spoon in here, and you see how that is bubbling? That means it's ready to go. So the other thing I have to show you quickly is my apron. I wonder if I can even get it to you, get you to see it. See, it says, if you cook it, they will come. My wonderful friends got me that for my birthday, and I love it. Okay, so back to business. Okay, so we're going to get this chicken in, and all we're doing here, that's what you want to hear, a nice little sizzle. I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Woohoo, because they're popping. And I'll tell you another thing too is to make sure that I always pat mine dry, especially if I'm going to be frying anything, because oil and water do not mix. I'm going to back you up a little bit. Oh, I am so sorry. This is a new tripod that my niece gave me, and I obviously don't have the touch on it yet, and I do apologize. Gosh, I can already hear it. All right, so these are going in. There we go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to season this side up, the side that's up. I didn't season it yet. So a little salt. All over there. A little pepper. And a lot of paprika. Oh, I'm telling you, chicken frying is a really good smell. All right, I'm going to let this go and brown up, and I'll be back with you when it's time to switch it and flip it to the other side. Okay, be back. Okay, it's time to turn it. It's, I want you to see this. I'm going to have to work on my on my new little thing here. But this one I turned already. And see how it's nice and brown? Isn't that awesome? All we're doing here is we're just browning it because we're going to make a sauce and we're going to cook it down in the sauce. On that one and the last one. So now all we're going to do is we're going to let this cook for maybe three more minutes and just get browned on this side. Then I'm going to take it out and make the sauce. So I'll be right back. I might have figured this out. I'm not sure, but I might have. So I've browned my chicken, and here's my chicken, and it looks delicious. You see it? Da 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 da. And it's just browned. It's not cooked. It's just browned. And so now I have dumped out most of that cooking oil. It's 3/4 of that cup. So what we have left in this big giant frying pan is about 1/4 cup of oil. To that, I'm going to add 4 teaspoons of flour. And you know what I always tell you about flour, right? So you want to dip it in and level it off. So I want 1, 2, 3, and 4. I want 4 of those, and then I want 3 teaspoons of dry mustard. So this is just organic, although I have organic because that's all they had. It doesn't matter if it's organic or not. And so to this flour, we're going to add 1, 2, 3 teaspoons of dry mustard. And I'm going to torque this up just a little bit and get that going in there. And you know, because what we're essentially doing is kind of making a gravy, right? So whenever you've got a gravy, you want to make sure you cook it a few minutes. You want to cook that flour. Got a whisk here, whisking kind of the lumps out, kind of cooking the flour. This is a very hot cast iron skillet, but cast iron is my favorite. And I'm going to switch it around because I have high-low points on my stove. I think everybody probably does. And as you can see, it's getting nice and bubbly. Can you see that? Getting nice and bubbly. And whenever you're making a gravy, by making a roux, which is what this is, you're adding flour to grease, right? Or pan drippings. You want to make sure that it's good and hot when you introduce the liquid to it. And then you want to stir so you don't get any lumps. This looks pretty good. It's a pretty color because of the paprika and the ground mustard. So to that, I'm going to add 2 cups, and I know this is 3, but I've got 2 cups of chicken. This is my chicken stock. So I'm going to add 2 cups of chicken stock. And if I need more, I've got it right here. This is just what I happen to thaw out. So I'm going to take that down. I'm going to take that down to 2 cups. Almost. There we go. That's just what was in my freezer container. And stir, and let that start to thicken up. This is such a great recipe, y'all. I really can't wait for you to try it. This is so good. So, you see it's kind of thick. I'm going to let that thicken for just a second. And we're going to get the rest of the stuff going. So, to that, let's keep that on there. We're going to add 4 teaspoons of Worcestershire sauce. So, that is 1, 2, 3, 4. And to that, we're also going to add 4 teaspoons of ketchup. This sounds like a crazy combination, y'all, but it is so good. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And yes, you can be generous with those. Okay, and that's pretty much, well, it's almost it. First we want to get this stuff mixed in pretty good. And keep it on a high bubble because we want to get that gravy to come together, so to speak. And when you're done, you serve this, of course, over the chicken, the gravy over the chicken, but it never hurts to have either mashed potatoes or some kind of a little pasta, elbow macaroni, something, egg noodles to put it over. That's also very good. Okay, so now this is all kind of come together, and now what we need is a cup of sherry. Now, this is what I'm going to tell you. Don't use grocery store cooking sherry or cooking wine, grocery store cooking, the stuff in the baking aisle that says cooking sherry, cooking wine. Don't do that. Just go over and get the little bottles of, these kind of little bottles of white wine or red wine. Now, if I had sherry, which I just happen to be out of it, I usually buy a bottle of sherry. It's not expensive, and I use it really exclusively for cooking. I'm not a sherry drinker, so to speak, but I don't. So, white wine works too. So, this is a cup, or close enough. This is what I use for a cup, more or less. Not quite, but it's not quite, but it gets what I need. So this is going in now. I'm gonna mix that up. This is so good. There we go. And now, and that's it. That's all we're gonna do to it. This. What we're gonna do is we're gonna take this yummy browned chicken. We're gonna slide it back in here. I'm gonna do it this way and this way. So I coat both sides when I put it in. This way, this way. Get it nice and coated. This will, of course, thicken as it cooks also. We're going to knock this heat down. And there you go. All right. So now what we want to do, I'm going to knock this heat back so that we're just on a simmer. I don't want a rolling boil on it at all. I want a simmer, which is going to calm down in just a minute. Have it on low, and now I'm going to let it go for about 45 minutes. So I'm going to cover it, and I don't have a lid for my big giant cast iron. So I do have a pizza pan, and voila, I have a lid. If you do something like this, it works, but just be very careful when you take it off because it's going to be hot and there's no little dealy bob on the top. So you got to make sure you take it off with a hot pad holder. So, that's all there is to it. We're going to let it go for 45 minutes, and we will come back, and I will show you what it looks like. It's going to be awesome, guys. Talk to you later. Okay, so we're back, and I want you to see the chicken there's the chicken, and I took that out, and it's been about 45 minutes, and now you can see my gravy is bubbling away there, and so what I'm going to do, because I want it to be just a little bit thicker, and I thought maybe you hadn't seen anyone ever do this before. Maybe you have. But it's nice and bubbly, but it's not real thick. It's pretty thin. And I like a thicker gravy, especially because I am going to put it over something. So I'm going to make a slurry, a cornstarch slurry. And this is something that you use when you've got liquid. Because if I were to put flour in here right now, you would never get the lumps out. Never, never, never. So this is cornstarch. And I'm going to take a nice big fat teaspoon, rounded teaspoon. I'm going to put in a little glass of water. And then I'm going to put about a tablespoon, a splash of water. That's my cold water. So it's running here. Hang on. So I got about a tablespoon of water in here. I'm going to, get my face out of there. I'm going to mix it up good so that, because it'll just, oops, dissolve right in. And you want to make sure that when you're doing this and you're making a slurry to thicken, that this is on a rolling boil like this, okay? So now all I'm going to do is put that in there and cancel that, and that will, and I always start with 1 teaspoon of cornstarch and about a splash, just, you know, a little bit, maybe more than a tablespoon at a time, because I don't want it to get too tight or too thick. So, but this looks like it's probably going to do just the trick for me. But this chicken is to die for. I'm telling you, it's great. And this is getting nice and thick. And you know, there's a couple of things I'm going to adjust this recipe because it's an old recipe. And I'm going to tell you, we need to start it with about a half a cup of oil. That's all you need to just brown off the chicken. And then you're not wasting so much. But see, now this is nice and thick. And I'm going to just slide this back in here until it's time for me to cut it and serve it. So I will take a picture of it on the plate, and I hope you try it and enjoy it. Thanks. Good night. Have a good evening.